Every day is a new beginning. Shine your light. It's a day and the world is waiting. Move along to the song, singing in your soul. Feel the beat, clap your hands, let's take control. All you need, all you want, are you ready to find your way? 'Cause every day is a new day.
Welcome to Wisconsin Family. I'm Jessa Jeremiah.
And I'm Justin Riley, and we are super pumped to be here today. We are at Bachman Pools and Spas over on South Stoughton Road. This is such a cool place, and it's just so chill.
I know.
I love it.
It's an oasis of relaxation.
It really is.
I can't wait to chat with the folks from here later in the show, because if you don't know, this is a family-owned business that has been around for 30 years. They're celebrating their 30th anniversary, so
Yes.
really special stuff. So we're going to talk to them later in the show and learn about infrared saunas as well as hot tubs. So
Yep, absolutely.
looking forward to it.
We'll be joined also by our good friend Chris Martingilio from Martingilio Martial Arts. He's going to talk a little bit about self-defense in schools. He actually teaches in some of the local public schools here, and he's going to be on his way to one of those schools, and he's
Yeah.
going to stop in real quick and talk to us a little bit about what he does and what he teaches the students when he goes into the public schools.
Some really important work that he's doing with primarily women, but he's also going to show some of his tactics on Justin, so that'll be worth
I
sticking
can't
around
wait.
for. We're also chatting about wedding dresses. So if you or somebody you know is getting married in the near future, or maybe you have a daughter, this a really special place. Premier Couture is joining us to share and showcase some of their newest, latest gowns. Can't wait.
That'll be great. That's coming up right after the break here on Wisconsin Family, so stick with us.
'Cause every day is a new day.
Welcome back to Wisconsin Family. We are filming today, if you're just tuning in, here at Bachman Pools and Spas. We're going to catch up with those folks later in the show. Right now, of course, one of my favorite topics. We're surrounded by gorgeous gowns because Rosemary Williams joins us today from Premier Couture. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, and thank you for letting me bring my ladies with
Yeah,
me.
bring your friends.
That's right.
They're very well-dressed friends that you have
They
today.
are very well dressed.
Wow, these gowns are just stunningly beautiful. Obviously, I get to see them up close and personal, and the detail is so stunningly beautiful. So we
is.
have three really kind of different dresses here, primarily in shape.
Yes.
So let's talk a little bit about different shapes. And obviously, you at Premier Couture help all the brides that come in find their dream dress.
Right.
So
Right.
people probably kind of gravitate towards different shapes, but what do you think works best for different body
Well,
types?
Like when we talked last time, I talked about the idea of prepping before you go gown shopping and visiting sites like The Knot and Pinterest and Wedding Wire. And all of those places have great advice about finding the perfect shape for your body.
Okay.
Okay, so this would be one place where I would totally give people permission to ignore the advice they see though, on those
I was
things.
going to ask you that. Okay.
Yes, because you'll see this chart and it'll say if you are this particular shape, look for this particular shape of dress.
Right.
And we just find, and like I say all the time, a gown is the most self-expressive garment a woman will ever purchase.
Right.
So if you are holding yourself to this, you must do this, follow these rules, how can you really truly self-express through that, right?
Absolutely.
So when you're looking for shapes, it's important to keep in mind how you feel in them.
Sure. Well, absolutely. It's your wedding day. It's your big day. You want the opportunity to feel like a princess and feel beautiful in whatever it is that you've chosen. And different people have different ideas of what that means.
Right.
So I think I love that you don't. There's no rules, right?
Right.
Don't pigeonhole yourself into a certain dress type.
Right.
And get it there and really try it on and see what feels good to you.
That is the most important part, is
Yeah.
the trying on, because we will definitely have women who come in who will work very hard at their physical condition. And there will be people that look at them and say, well, clearly you should wear a dress that really is more body conscious, shows everything off. Whereas once she gets a dress on, she may feel like a bride and beautiful in this dress.
You just
that is
never
full.
know
Right.
what's going to really make you feel gorgeous. But let's talk a little bit about the different shapes. So this one that, I just think is a stunning shape. Obviously, there's a lot of detail. This one doesn't have beading, but the lace work is just
The lacework's
awesome.
exquisite.
It's so beautiful.
It is.
And I love that it's almost a combination between a strapless dress and not, because it's got that shape that almost could be
It totally
strapless.
does. So it gives you this great line that pulls the eye all the way up to the top of the shoulder, but is that really flattering shape of a strapless dress.
I like that, and you get a little bit of the comfort of actually having the straps.
Yeah,
You
some
don't have to
security there.
Do any of that.
Yes.
And then the back, we'll show it in a little bit, but the back is absolutely beautiful. The way that it's sort of cinched together and comes back out to flow. Now, is this a mermaid shape? Is that what
That
people
is a
call
mermaid
that?
shape.
I love that.
It
It's
is
very beautiful.
and it is something that will surprise people because again, there's these preconceived ideas about who should wear what shape or what cut of dress, and those people who make those rules are never in the fitting room with a bride when she has that moment where maybe for the first time she's thinking, oh my word, I am beautiful. And it might not be in a dress that fits those rules.
Right.
So someone who has never put on something body conscious puts that on and is like,
Right.
wow,
Yeah.
I could totally do this.
Right.
It's really an exciting moment.
It really is, and everybody's shape is so different, and everybody, I bet, looks different in this dress, so it's so personal.
Yes, it is.
And now this one has a similar shape in some ways. It's got sort of the thinner, more fitted top, but it doesn't flare out as dramatically at the bottom. It sort of
Exactly.
starts more gradually.
Absolutely.
So this is kind of the in-between. You're sort of working your way towards that sort of princess gown.
Exactly. So someone who maybe saw themselves in this, but missed all the drama of this, will feel really comfortable in this because she feels like she's getting the best of both worlds.
Yeah, it's so pretty. And it's got the lace, but then just that touch of beading that's
Yes.
really, really pretty and elegant. And now then we've got really the princess gown.
It's
I love
very fairy
it.
tale, yeah.
It's so beautiful. So talk to me a little bit about the tiers. Now, I really like that look. It's a very different look. It's obviously a little bit more of a dramatic look.
A little more whimsical, too. Yes. And it's a really romantic dress. And I do have to give a shout out to my daughter. She was with us at market because, of course, we go to market and carefully inspect every single dress that we choose, and we have to love them all. But my daughter is the one who said, you have to have this dress in your store. And we were like, okay. We'll have it here, Marley, so now we refer to it as the Marley dress.
The Marley dress.
Yes.
The other thing that I notice about this dress is there's a hint of color to it.
There is.
Just a really light underlying sort of cream or beige tone underneath. It's still a really classic white overlay and just that little unique interest to it.
It tends to be a trend that we've been seeing actually for quite some time to have a touch of color. You might not notice this. This also has a really subtle touch of color on it.
Yeah.
And again, allowing yourself to be open to different colors so that what feels right on you comes from inside instead of someone else telling you what you should or should not do.
Well, I love these options and I love your passion, and thank you so much for sharing a few of them with us, and some of those moments that you have I'm sure are really special with the brides. So
Without a doubt.
this is Rosemary Williams with Premier Couture. We're going to be back with more Wisconsin Family. We're here at Bachman Pools and Spas. We'll be back right after this.
'Cause every day is a new day.
Welcome back to Wisconsin Family. We are at Bachman Pools and Spas over on Stoughton Road, and we're going to talk with those folks later on in the show. I can't wait for that.
I know. We've been enjoying ourselves here. It's a great space. They have a lot of fun things we're going to learn about later.
Lots of stuff. And speaking of learning, we're joined by Chris Martingilio from
morning.
Martingilio Martial Arts. How are you?
Good, good. Thanks for having me.
So we were talking a little bit before the show. You're actually on your way right now to Monona Grove High School
I am.
to teach over there.
Yep.
What is it that you teach when you go out to the schools? Does it vary from school to school, or is it pretty much the same? Talk to us a little bit about
we
that.
have to start with education. Most of the kids are not aware of the amount of crime out there, what they're going to be approaching when they go into college, what they have to do for their own personal safety. They have been under the umbrella of their parents, And school teachers and other things for so long, they think, it's no problem, nothing will happen to me. And so we first start with educating them just on numbers. How much crime is actually out there in Madison? You know, what does the university see in an average for sexual assaults or batteries? You know, any of these kind of things are just basic information for them first. And then we have to start talking about awareness.
Yeah.
And that's a big one for kids because they're always, again, hands in their, you know, they're always looking at their phones.
Right.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate but interesting because I think people have a mentality of this won't happen to me. It's
Everybody
not in
has
my
that,
community, not in my backyard, all of those things. But unfortunately, people who think that are probably the most at risk.
They are.
Because you're not really, like you said, you're the awareness factor.
Yeah, they're not seeing everything around them.
Right.
And so we have to start, I mean, the first big discussion is about awareness of your surroundings and watching and reading people and understanding when a sexual assault may be starting.
Right.
It's mostly girls that I deal with.
Right.
So we start with just basic touch. Like if a guy walks up to you and is doing this, well, he's already testing the water.
Right.
Let's see if you are, is she gonna pull back? Is she gonna, does she wanna stay away from me? Well, we'll know from there. So we start with finger locks off of that touch.
Wow.
Wrapping the hand around the waist, finger locks, because they're basic, they're non-violent attacks, and it gives them place. And now they're going, well, wait a minute, no, I can defend myself off of something this easy. We have to change the ability for them to defend off of something violent as well, but we have to start here.
I guess explain what a finger lock is.
Finger lock, okay,
Yeah.
Justin. Finger lock. When we talk about finger locks, I'll actually
Oh! That scared me. Are you okay?
finger lock. Now, let me explain that.
Okay.
I'll go really slow. If I keep the pressure on this finger and press it in, you see what's happened? His other hand went away from me.
Yeah.
This gives me opportunity to kick. This gives me opportunity to draw attention to myself. So just by getting a hold of this, what have you now thought? I don't want to touch that person now.
Right.
You know, and that's a big
gotten a
deal.
little further away.
He's gotten a little further away. But you think about it. I mean, just that touch. If I'm a big guy, if I touch you, you're going to think, well, I can't fight that
Right.
guy. So what did I grab?
Just the pinky.
The pinky.
Right.
That's it.
And all of a sudden, the other hand was far away from me.
Yeah.
And it's like touching the burner.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't want to do that again. That person.
Right, yeah.
It hurt when I touched that person.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it works.
It's really smart that you use such a small amount of, I guess, force, to use that word, in order to ward off an attacker, because that's exactly what I think as, you know, as a female, I'm sure as a lot of people think, is if a big guy comes up to me, what are you gonna do? And then it's such an easy move
It's
that
such an
anybody
easy
can do
move.
Yeah.
at
It
any
is.
skill level.
Well, and look, all I have to do is you take this hand, put that right here.
This one.
Yeah, that one.
I'm
That's right there.
scared.
No, you're gonna do it. Now grab that pinky.
Okay.
Pull the pinky back and press it into your shoulder.
Into
Press it
my-
in.
Oh,
There it is. Ah! Now, it's not hard to do.
Yeah.
But most people are like, I don't want to hurt the guy.
Yeah.
We have to get over that.
Right.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
It's not hard. Grab
Yeah.
finger and press into your body. And it's this motion.
Yeah.
Anybody, kids do this motion.
Right.
Remember the kids when they had their little Matchbox cars? It's mine, you can't have it.
Right.
Well, that's all we're doing.
Wow.
Such a-
They handed you a gift,
Yeah.
right? And you've kept it.
I'm wondering. You talk about how this. You talk to girls primarily. I mean, do you feel like there's boys or men feel like, well, I don't need this because I'm a man? I mean, do you ever feel like there's
that's
that barrier?
interesting.
Yes,
question.
that does happen. The attacks are slightly different, but you know when they realize that, yeah, they do need this. Then why do I want to go toe to toe with somebody? Why do I want to put my dukes up and fight? I don't want to fight. I've done this a lot of years. I do not want to fight.
Right.
So you keep it as simple as possible so that it's a humane way to apply force to somebody. And we teach this to police officers, we teach this to women, men, everybody. Little kids can do this to me.
Yeah.
So that's what we start with at Monona Grove, finger lock.
And the
There you
other
go.
thing that I find interesting is that's sort of the last resort is some of these moves. So if you're aware of your surroundings and you're not, like you said, on your phone, walking to your car or whatever
Right.
it is, people aren't going to probably target you. But you have that tool in your back pocket.
I
so
feel
to
like it's a
speak.
choice. I can allow that person to touch me, or no, if I don't want them there, if they're not going to respond to the no, Well, now they're going to respond to a little bit of pain. And unfortunately, that if that's where we have to go,
Right.
I'd rather have them have that tool than not have that tool.
Right.
Absolutely. Just
Right.
the confidence of knowing that you'll walk a little more
Right.
secure,
Yeah.
probably.
You want to knock me out?
No.
Maybe that'll be our next
Next
show.
show. Next show.
This
We'll
has
do
been
that.
Chris Martingilio from Martingilio Martial Arts. Thank you so much for coming in today.
Thanks, Chris. Yeah.
Don't go away. There's more Wisconsin Family coming up right after the break.
'Cause every day is a new day.
Welcome back to Wisconsin Family. We're here at Bachman Pools and Spas and having ourselves a good time. What do you think?
We're having a blast. It's great in here.
It's sure a good time of year to think about warming up in a hot tub, but
Yeah.
you know, I could see doing it all year round, and they
Yeah.
have some other things here as well that we're going to learn about. We are joined now by Fred and Kaya Bachman, and thank you so much for having us here today. We've enjoyed ourselves.
Thanks for coming.
Well, what a great space. Justin and I stopped by before the filming today to check it out, and you guys have a really unique story and history, and I want to share that a little bit with viewers at home. So talk a little bit about this. This is a great place to reconnect, a really rich family history, isn't it?
Well, I started the business when I was in my early 20s,
Yeah.
and we've been located here on South Stoughton Road since 1987. When I started the business, I did it because, I mean, who doesn't like hot tubs when you're in your mid-20s? It was a party, right? A lot of fun. Yeah, and then as I got into my 30s, I was a sort of a weekend amateur athlete warrior, and I used it for recovery.
Yeah.
As I got into my 40s and we were raising our daughter, it was a great place to reconnect. I mean, I know a lot of people don't sit around the dinner table anymore.
Right.
And we're guilty of that. But,
Right.
you know, when you sit in a hot tub and you reconnect with your family,
Yeah.
connect, you know, it's more of a positive atmosphere.
Yeah.
And we raised a great kid, and I attribute a lot of that to owning a hot tub and using it regularly.
Hot tub time.
Hot tub time. You know, now that I'm in my 50s, well, my wife and I use it to reconnect at night a lot, but I use it every morning. It's a ritual for me. Yeah,
You guys
cup
seem
of
really
coffee.
laid back. Everybody's so just chill here. That's what's so awesome.
I love how your sort of uses for hot tubs have changed throughout the years and with your history and your family, and that's really a neat picture because there are so many uses for it throughout different ways, you know, times in life. And you're right, what a nice way to just sit down and have some quiet time with your loved ones, and I love that. I think it's a really nice story.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk about some logistics of owning a hot tub. Because I think the thing that's on a lot of people's minds when they're considering whether or not they want to get a hot tub is long-term, how do I make sure that the water is safe to go in? I mean, caring for the water.
Maintenance,
Can you
right.
talk a little bit about, did you have any tips for people that are thinking about that?
Well, they've come a long way in water care. They now have it's called an ACE saltwater system. And one thing Hot Springs always says is you can go pillow to pillow, meaning, you know, in the years past, and I can tell you this, I've owned them for years. After you take a hot tub, you know, a decade or 2 decades ago, you felt like you needed to take a shower before you go to bed. But with the new water care system, you really don't.
Yeah.
You feel you get out, you're clean, you don't feel like you need to
Felt
take a
like
shower.
you did take a shower.
Pillow to pillow is
Pillow to pillow, all right.
well, and I also, you know, with swimming pools as well, I have this sort of corny story I tell people. It's an analogy where you look at the water in a hot tub or swimming pool as a battlefield, and you got good guys and bad guys. And I mean, I'm not going to go through this now. It's a 2-3 minute story, but every customer that I've shared it with has told me that it makes it a lot easier for them to understand if you're not a chemist.
Yeah.
It just makes it easier.
So come on down to Bachman and ask Fred to tell you the story.
The corny story.
Corny
Corny story.
Corny
Tell the
story.
I love that. Okay. So obviously you've got a huge selection of hot tubs here for all kinds of sizes and needs and what folks are looking for. But one thing that I'm very excited for, because I have been reading a lot about these, is the infrared sauna. So you have saunas, but you also have infrared saunas, and I feel like this is sort of a trend in that, you know, everything starts sort of on the coast, right, and works their way in. And a lot of folks are sort of starting to get the infrared saunas and why they're so important. So share with us what they are.
Well, same with the hot tub. It's raising your core temperature. Dr. Oz endorses saunas primarily, and they probably work the best to quickly raise your core temperature. Doing that, you're tricking your body, putting it into fever mode. And when you go into fever mode, your body creates more white blood cells. And white blood cells are your defense mechanism against disease and illness.
Interesting.
And so if you do that on a regular basis, you're healthier.
Right. And essentially, my understanding is it's helping you to eliminate a lot of those toxins that get stuck in your skin over years, because I mean, we're using all kinds of products that have chemicals in them throughout our day-to-day lives. The food that we eat, unfortunately, is no longer clean oftentimes, and this is a wonderful way to really rejuvenate yourself. And there's a lot of studies out there that are showing different things. I think the research is coming along as time goes on.
Well, our son-in-law is a firefighter, and he was just telling me last night that the rate for cancer for firefighters, because of all the toxins they're exposed to, is twice as high as the normal person.
Wow.
And so saunas are something that's being prescribed to firefighters as a way of protecting themselves.
Wow.
And what's interesting is you think of these products as you need to go somewhere and pay to use it or something like that, and you can do that, but it's actually really affordable to have one in your home. And if you're going to be using it regularly, which I think is recommended, then why not have one where you can just relax in the comfort of your home?
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about some of the brands that you carry here, specifically when it comes to hot tubs. What are the brands that have been sort of the tried and true over the years?
I've been with Hot Springs since the beginning.
Hot Springs, okay.
Hot Spring Spas since 1985. You know, we've had other brands of hot tubs over the years, but there's really none, in my opinion. They stand behind the product better. They've been the leading edge. They are the #1 selling brand of hot tubs in the world. They've got dealers in 42 countries.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's my opinion. I mean, I am obviously biased, but it's
Yeah.
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 They're the leaders in the industry.
It's the only one I would own.
Right. Okay. That's good. That's good to hear. And then I want to make sure that we get this in before. This is sort of a little segue. I want to make sure we get this in before we go here. You've been in the industry for 32 years, and you've worked with your wife for I think most of that time. What's that been like? How's that been?
It's been for 20 years. Yeah, it's
20 years.
been.
Okay.
Maybe we should ask Kaya how it's been.
Yeah. It's
interesting.
You say much, yeah, Kaya.
Actually, it's really good. We have a really good balance.
Yeah.
He does a lot of the outside, the pools, the hot tubs, the building, the construction side. Also with the customer interactions, I'm inside the store more, the employees and the customers on the one-on-one basis. So
Yeah.
it works out really good.
Yeah,
Good
well, it's a
team
really
out there.
special thing when you're able to work with your spouse and do it for so long. So obviously you guys have a wonderful business and working relationship, and also what great staff here. Justin and I, like I mentioned earlier, popped in earlier last week, and your folks know their stuff and are really welcoming. So it's a great
They
place
do,
to be.
absolutely.
It feels good.
And take advantage of what they know.
Yeah.
They do.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, you guys, for
Yes,
having
thank
us
you, guys.
here.
Yeah,
It's been
thank
just
you.
a wonderful time. Come on and check them out here, Bachman Pools and Spas. This is Fred and Kaya Bachman. So thank you very much for having us. Thanks to all of our guests for joining us. Thank you for watching. Please join us next time on Wisconsin Family.
Every day is a new beginning. Shine